Hi Gemini Soul family, welcome to my channel. It's Romy here. If you have a Gemini sun, rising or moon, then this general reading for the month of October may resonate for you. My readings are a blend of the astrological influences, working to see what comes up in the tarot and tuning into my guides. If you'd like to join me for the extended portion of this reading where we go a little bit more in depth, you can also find details for that in the description box in the comment section underneath. Please do drop me a like and a comment if it resonates, helps to support my work. Really looking forward to seeing what's coming out for you this month. There's a lot happening, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay Gemini, so just tuning into your energy for this magical month of October. And a couple of things that were coming through. The first is about not taking a shortcut. Really realizing that so much of the investment that you've made in different aspects of your life now needs to be honoured. It needs to be nurtured. As we move through Libra season, we're activating your 5th house of creativity, of romance. It's very much linked into that heart chakra and the way in which you give and receive energy. And with 2 full moons this month, the first in Aries on the 1st of October, culminating in a second blue moon in the sign of Taurus in your 12th house on the 31st, same day as Halloween, Samhain. It's going to be an incredibly sacred, energetic time for you to review and to really reflect on how far you've come and not giving up, not letting yourself feel like you now need to try to circumnavigate something in the process, because that Mars retrograde can still have us feeling a little bit frustrated. And we also have your ruler Mercury turning retrograde in a water sign, which is not always the easiest for you to be able to deal with, Gemini, on the 14th, but will be in the shadow right from the beginning of October. And yet we open up your reading with the 3 of coins. For me, this is giving you stability. It's giving you an anchor and a focus. Something about this month of October is really awakening you to the ways in which you've worked in the past and how you've balanced that out in your life and the impact that it's had. And I think what you're doing now is really coming to a place where you're actually having to decide what really matters to you so that you can let go and release everything else. Because here's the thing, these 2 full moons are about ultimate surrender, ultimate closure, coming to a point of completion. And especially with that full moon in Taurus in your 12th house, you know, showing your spiritual progression, but, you know, really demanding that you have to let something go in order to continue on with this next chapter. Now, here we have the collaborative, creative alchemy that's coming in, all of the energies for you to work with, to blend with, and to really, you know, create some of that magic for yourself as you try to get the right dynamic. You know, this is about, this sense of emotional alchemy for me is about you knowing when to rest, knowing when to hustle, knowing when to give, knowing when to receive, Gemini, knowing when your mind wants to be active and visualizing and in that mode of inspiration, but also when it wants to be very quiet and very reflective. And there are things in your life that I feel you are yet to really get that right equilibrium, that right balance with. And, you know, there's this opportunity I feel through the month of October as you're perhaps redefining what your relationship to pleasure looks like. You know, that 5th house energy wants you to explore the things that really light you up. You're setting some really powerful foundations with this 3 of coins energy, okay? So regardless of the area in which you are focused, you know, if it's really all about awakening to new levels of abundance, then the things that you do in October matter. But what you might need to remember is that it's not necessarily asking you to do more. It could be to do less, yeah? Let things come to a point of ripeness, and sometimes like over meddling or trying to push or force isn't going to get them there any faster. If this is about relationships, then of course that Mercury retrograde invites you to go back over things, to review. You got to be really honest with yourself about people that you're surrounding yourself with. And if you are
waiting on somebody to change, waiting for something to change. It's not really about the waiting on them, it's really you waiting on you. There's something that's about to shift in your own energy through this month of October that's going to really impact those relationships around you. Now, yes, there can be some chaos, some confusion, some miscommunication, and that moon almost brings in this this kind of hazy feeling all the way through the month of October, where there will be a little bit of uncertainty. There will be that having to feel and sense your way through things. And yet at the same time, there's profound illumination and deeper knowing and understanding that's being like lit up like fireworks going off inside you. That's kind of what I'm feeling. The other thing I think is quite interesting, you may well start to feel into some very interesting reversals or redirections that are starting to show themselves through this month of October. The reason I say that is because we're going to be approaching your eclipse toward the end of November, and in the few weeks that lead up to that, we can start to see those storylines making their way towards us. And so for some of you, as you allow the release and surrender and you come to terms with different aspects of your life, what you may well discover is that actually you've lost the heart with a particular thing, or you've actually been inspired or re-inspired in a different direction. And so I think you need to be a little bit open-minded as to the way that the universe wants to work with you through this month, and almost leave a bit of room for that to happen. It's like, don't set so many rigid schedules or plans in place until you've come out of the other side of this month, is what I want to say. Wheel of Fortune, really just exactly what we're talking about. There's some kind of external, surprising, fated energy that is making its way towards you, Gemini, and I feel it's going to have an impact on some of the choices and decisions and the way that you're directing your energy, okay? Now remember, throughout this month of October, the veil is incredibly thin, and so our ability to tap into those prophetic dreams, to have that extra sixth sense, that psychic awareness, to receive that validation or the signs from spirit and the guides that work with us, is going to be incredibly strong. So for me, that's really going to support you being in the right place at the right time to have these blessings that the Wheel of Fortune wants to deliver for you. The thing with the energy of the wheel, though, is it can come in so unexpectedly and really sort of disrupt us when we felt like we'd just found our flow or we'd just made our mind up. And so sometimes that change can be a little difficult to digest, even if it is ultimately for our highest good or ultimately something that we've asked for. So I'm feeling like there may be a little bit disruption in your energy as you come to terms with what it is that's just happened or just shown up for you. And that's not necessarily because it's about the negative of it, it's just because it's really caught you by surprise, it's really caught you off guard. Now that first full moon in the sign of Aries is in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. Yeah, it activates things that you have been wanting and wishing and working towards, visualizing, setting out that energy, pre-paving. It also connects into groups, to the community and your friendships. And so there may well be some, radical changes or, new things that are coming in to really open your mind up in these areas of your life. I guess what Spirit are saying though is, what is it that really just pours out of you so naturally, so beautifully? What is it that is completely second nature to you? Because that's going to give you an indication of where the universe is trying to direct your energy if you're not already there. Now the Page of Coins coming in, I like, because again it's giving that level of focus and almost kind of a little bit of a groundedness to the more mutable energies of that moon, and uncertainty or surprising kind of quality of that Wheel of Fortune. And so, for me, I quite like the fact that you are, yes, perhaps going to be surprised at some of the information or energies that comes your way, but at the same time, it's not like derailing you, and the things that are important are going to be almost like reshuffled, reprioritized, yeah? Now this could well be an earth sign, a Virgo, Taurus or Capricorn. If this is the case, there does seem to be some sort of offer or invitation that may be coming your way. News or messages that are important in terms of some of the decisions that you're going to be making or considering through this month. The thing that I need to say though is that I'm really not sure that you're going to have absolute crystal clear clarity, all right? Because with that moon energy being so dominant here, and also the fact that we've got these two powerful moons bookending the entire month of October, you know, there's almost this sense of you're going to have to wait and see with something. There's that quality of wait and see. But certainly I see that, you know, from a fiscal financial perspective, there may well be news that's on its way to you, and perhaps the consideration of new investments or something that you want to be applying yourself towards. There's a quality of learning that comes in with the Page of Coins as well, and I feel like a little bit of a determined attitude as well. And the thing I like about that determined kind of outlook is that it's really showing you again, like I said, you deciding, you know, what really matters to you, and then allowing the universe to clear out anything else that isn't important anymore. You know, this is your opportunity to really start to reimagine your life and build it exactly as you want it. You know, these retrogrades, Mars and Mercury, are helping you to just go back over some of the details and think about October as being a little bit of a mini review, a highlight reel of what you've experienced through this year of 2020. And I know not all of it has been necessarily positive, but you can really start to reflect and actually realize the gains and the gifts that have also come in, how much it's changed you at a deep cellular level, and the way in which your spiritual progression has allowed you to really look at things with a fresh new eyes, and the impact that that's now making in terms of where you want to be, who you want to be with, what you want to return to. So we have the card of the Lovers coming in right of the center of your reading, which, you know, is really beautiful for me to see for you. This does connect into your sign, and for me, whenever I have that showing up in your readings, it's just demonstrating to me that you're being really true and authentic to yourself this month, Gemini, okay? In spite of any uncertainty or not fully knowing or not fully understanding what all of the agendas are at play, there's something within you that's just saying, do you know what, I know where I need to focus, I know where I need to devote myself to, and I'm working on myself for myself right now. There's this interesting theme around kind of discipline versus surrender as well, because I think part of October is quite a almost wild energy. You know, these two full moons, one in a very kind of fiery sort of combustible Aries, and then that culmination of the Taurus full moon in your 12th house, but on such a potently powerful day, you know, where the veil is that thin. They're bringing in this sense of wild change, rapid expansion. And you can see the card of the Lovers here. The figures are almost like, they look like they're flying with that moon behind them. So something taking off, you know, you launching or kind of really like shifting into a completely different gear with something as we culminate toward the end of the month, I feel is shown quite predominantly. Now, because we have the moon right above the Lovers here, it does suggest to me that perhaps with regards to relationships, there is that haze, that fog that is kind of permeating a little bit of your experience through this month. Like I said, Mercury retrograde in a water sign can be a little bit challenging for you to, you know, work out what some of the scrambled messages are and decipher them. And, you know, your mutability, your mercurial nature tends to get to the root cause of things incredibly quickly. But what you might find is that, you know, through this month of October, you just need a little extra time to kind of process or figure something out. What I will say though, with the Page of Coins kind of sat aside this, Lovers, is that, you know, if there is a desire from both parties, whether this be personally or professionally, Gemini, to make something work, then you have something tangible and real to build upon. But there's certainly more work to do. You know, the 3 and the Page are, you know, still in a certain degree a level of infancy with regards to what the potential is here, or what could be realised, or indeed what you want to be realised. Because if you have a clear indication of, you know, where you're vibrating or what it is that you're looking for, you know, this sense of emotional alchemy that we're tapping into for this month of October is really helping you to make the right adjustments in your own energy field first and foremost, but then also looking toward that other person and seeing where they're at, not because you're trying to change them, but just really figuring out the changes that have happened internally and externally for them, because that's going to give you a much clearer picture as to the route forward, the way forward or not. Now, of course, Mercury does bring back sometimes people and, you know, connections from the past. That's always important to bear in mind. And if, you know, again, if that is the case and you have these offers and invitations coming your way, you know, perhaps you have shifted into a completely different gear here, lover. You know, with the card of the Lovers showing up here, I think you know exactly what it is that you are looking for, and there isn't really that acceptance to, you know, to have anything less. Now, card of Judgment's interesting here, so it links into the sign of Pluto. Now, through this month, Pluto is moving direct in Capricorn on the 4th. You have been working with these Capricorn energies through your 8th house all year. It has been a grind, right? Deep dive, transformation, rebirth, dealing with a lot of those uncomfortable kind of issues of power and you know, that shadow aspect of the self. And so, you know, coming to terms with what that means for you really is affording you this time of, you know, between now and the end of the year, like release, letting go, and sort of moving into this powerful transitioning phase of having a complete rebirth. Yeah. Now, on the 9th, it's important to note that Mars is squaring Pluto. This is the second of 3 that we have before the end of the year. The last one came around on August 13th, so if you can cast your mind back to that time, Gemini, to see what was going on for you. The 3rd is going to be happening on December 20th, right before that powerful Pluto-Jupiter conjunction. So again, that's going to be a bit of a bang before that end of the year. Card of Judgment is about not only the way that you are making those edits and reviews in your own life, you know, and this is also a time to remind you not to be overly harsh and critical. Venus moves into Virgo on the 2nd, and in Virgo, you know, we can kind of take matters of self-devotion, the way we're taking care of ourselves, and we can be a little critical, you know, but there's a very nurturing, loving quality to that placement if we allow it to be so. You may well be having a major decision to make through this month in October, Gemini, all right? But I feel like it's coming in very unexpectedly. And so I don't think in terms of preparation, there's much that you're going to be able to do ahead of when this shows up. Now, for some of you, it may come a little bit later. You know, timing is not linear, and particularly through this very magical, mystical month of October, it could happen very early for some of you. What is important to note, though, is that you have put some of the foundations in place for yourself. Getting clear on what your standards are, on what your value is, what matters to you, and then kind of being open to some of the you know, the kind of white space being filled in by the universe in some kind of extraordinary ways, I think is what will serve you quite well. Now, we've got the Alchemist, the Magician energy. This has been showing up in a lot of readings through this month of October. I love this energy again for you, because for me it is that mutability. It's that kind of knowing how to shapeshift, how to be resourceful, how to use what you have, and really there's a pause to say, like, what do we need to adjust? What do we need to allow to change, you know? There's something also about the way that the alchemist expresses their energy. You know, perhaps you need to sell yourself a little bit more. Are you kind of selling yourself short with something? You know, they're coming at this from a deep sense of knowing. You know, there is a magic in the air with this, and they can draw in abundance very, very quickly. So if some of you are experiencing some you know, more roller coaster situations with regards to work and finance, understand that you have put so much of the foundation in place that actually very quickly you can turn that around and to work towards your favor, okay? And in some ways, I'm also sort of sensing that even what may feel like a challenge could end up being like a really beautiful blessing for you, you know? like we said, there is some wild change that I think is coming through. And what's good with the Alchemist here, and even the way that the Lovers is sort of flowing in this reading, and the Wheel, there's just like there's movement here, there's momentum here, there's nothing stagnant about the energy of this at all. And so even though those retrogrades might feel like they're slowing things down or causing, you know, a few chinks in the armour at different moments through the month, really they're not going to stop anything that's fated or that's right for you, or really where you are absolutely connected and centred in terms of knowing it's the right way forward for you, okay? So I think that your ability to work with that energy and harness it very powerfully is what I want to say. And the Alchemist wants to harness the power of both of these moons, you know? So what is it you want to release? What do you want to see come to fruition? What do you want to allow to come up to the surface? What information, what aspect of you? This is a really powerful time. So Three of Cups coming in and reminding you about the need to celebrate, the need to find the right balance. You know, Libra energy, 5th house is about pleasure. It's about creativity. It's about the things that light you up outside of the, you know, the work that you do or the relationship that you're in. What do you do for you, Gemini? You know, there is support, there is community, there is opportunities for you to spread your wings a little bit, I feel, and kind of tap and feel your way into perhaps some different areas that, you know, you haven't explored before. And I think there's something about this month of October, and actually the Alchemist is saying that to me, that wants you to be a little bit experimental, okay? You know, feel into some different things. Does this feel like a good fit for me? Is this something that kind of lights me up? And you know, while we're in that Mars retrograde, if you are feeling like a little bit demotivated, or it's harder to get going with something, or perhaps you're feeling really focused and streamlined, it's going to be affecting everybody very differently. You know, what the advice that is coming through is it's important to still take time to rest, you know, to take time to recharge your energy. But I do think you are really going to be surprised at what shows up for you by the time you come out the end of this month, okay? Now, when we're making our way into Scorpio energy from the 22nd onwards, it does go into your 6th house of self-care. You know, the way that you're showing up in the world, but also, you know, those beautiful rituals that you need to put in place to take care of yourself, okay? And 5 of Cups here is, for me, really the reminder that any kind of a change, there's a quality of grief that has to come with it. You know, even as we change the seasons and you watch the leaves falling from the trees, or, you know, you see nature and, you know, parts of it dying, so that it needs to kind of allow for that process of rebirth. And it can feel sad. It can feel sad. And yet, ultimately, you know, something really exceptionally beautiful is going to come back around. But it doesn't negate kind of what it can bring up in us. And honouring that, remember, sort of back to this idea of the emotional alchemy through this month, Gemini, honouring that process and that grieving is a really, really important way for you to honour just what it is that you are experiencing, what you have been through. And knowing that even though, you know, decisions and changes that are coming in might be right for you, it's still okay to feel the loss of something, or to know that you're going to miss something. Now, sometimes that energy comes through with a sense of disappointment, and I think it's like curious to explore that a little bit, because what I pick up from this in this month of October is you haven't really understood the entirety of the picture yet. So if you find yourself in a situation where something isn't as you expected it to be, okay, you're still being invited to choose your peace and to allow yourself to flow, okay? Because I think there is going to be a I wanted to say reversal, so I'm going to go with it. There is a reversal. There's a reversal to something, okay? So someone may have a change of heart, a decision that's made might be retracted. So yeah, okay, that's what they want to come forth with. So don't really kind of try to hold back on what your final understanding is with regards to a situation until we see the full unfolding of what that wheel is bringing through for you, okay? Jupiter is now direct, Saturn is now direct as of the end of September, and Pluto direct. So, you know, we are starting to see the benefit and the fruition of so much of the work that you've been doing through that 8th house, okay? As we build to the eclipses in your sign, you are getting a much stronger, clearer idea of what destiny is wanting from you and where it's guiding you, Gemini, okay? It might be away from the things or the people or the situations that you expected, but let the dust settle before you decide what that means for you on a personal level, okay? So let's go ahead and just take a look and see how these oracle cards are going to reflect your main reading here. New beginnings, okay? I mean, like we said, this is going to be a month of closure and release and culmination, and we have to create space for that. We have to allow that to happen, and you can see the butterflies here on the side of the image, all beautiful transformation energies coming through. And I love that it's almost like we're just walking through this portal, we're walking through this doorway into this scene that's exceptionally beautiful. The sun is shining, the birds are flying here, we can see this beautiful mountainscape almost denoting what you've been through, you know, the arduous journey that you've taken, and yet here you are in this almost moment of paradise. You know, the waterfall does denote, like we said, those emotions are kind of coursing through you, so there's something incredibly heart connected to the new beginning that's coming in for you, something going to the next level, I feel, for you, Gemini. And there's something really exciting about that, but maybe it's not something you can share with everybody. Maybe not everyone can come with you, or you know, maybe there's a change that has to happen before you can step fully into that. So coming to terms with that is also something that I think you're going to be working through in this month of October. A new start is coming, really just reflecting the first card, isn't it? New moon. And the new moon in Libra this month is on the 16th. Again, that 5th house. So, you know, it does link into children, to creativity, to passion projects. And there's just something I feel bubbling up from a place of excitement within you. But it feels a little contained still in this month of October. You know, so I'm kind of seeing a slight muting of it from you, and it's maybe just because you're still quietly sort of trying to come to terms with it or figure out what it means for you. But I think as we move through November and December, that's going to start to show up and reveal itself much more strongly, you know. So I've got these Halloween oracle cards that I thought would be fun as we make our way to that celebratory day at the end of the month. Okay, and you have the card of the vampire, emotional intelligence. So I think it kind of echoes a little bit around the idea of this emotional alchemy, you know. I think it is going to be really important that you are paying attention to what you are picking up and absorbing from others, aware of any kind of energy vampires that might be around you. Very easy right now with a very kind of porous sort of magical month where the veil is very thin. You know, if you're working in any way spiritually, doing any kind of soul work, but even tuning into the collective. So make sure you're clearing your energy field each and every day so that you can be sure and certain about what's yours and what is not yours. And if you are finding like a big impact on your energy levels or your emotions or your connection, just take a tune in and see whether you're in fact wading through someone else's dense energy field at that time, you know. But like we said with the lovers coming in at the start of the reading, in the center of the reading rather, I'm really sensing that you are finding some peace. There's something about you becoming a little bit more settled within yourself through this month of October, okay? And as a result of that, some of the changes and the ways in which things might be coming in to impact your life, you are responding and looking at very, very differently, all right? Now, for those of you in relationships, you know, there does seem to be some major decisions that are going to be coming in for you this month, okay? But I just feel like you you don't have everything yet. So I've still got this quality of wait and see. I think perhaps we'll need to clear out that Mercury retrograde. And as we said, make our way toward that powerful eclipse at the end of November, so that you've got a much better indication of kind of where you stand, or what, you know, really what you feel. Okay, Gemini, this is a general reading for the month of October. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do drop me your feedback, drop me a comment. I love to receive that. And if you'd like to join me for the extended version, you can find the details for that in the description box in the comment section underneath. It's a way to support my channel, and I'm deeply grateful for those of you that do. If you have a question that I have not answered in this main spread right now, Gemini, please put your focus on it now for me. And I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple of cards that we'll look at in more detail. Okay, and let's just clarify this main 9-card spread now. Alright, Knight of Cups coming in here. Very creative energies. Could also be a water sign coming through here. Or if it is connected to relationships, definitely some healing that needs to take place here. The Moon and the Sun, beautiful energies to be working with. You do have some powerful major arcanas this month. The Moon, the Wheel, Lovers, Judgment, the Alchemist. Lots of fated events coming in. Energy of strength showing up as well for you. Could be a Leo energy that's important here. We've also got the World coming in, really reminding us of this time of completion, wrapping something up, but also beautiful positivity, you know, coming in there with the Wheel. Feels really exciting. A little bit protective in your energy this month, Gemini. Hierophant coming through. Could be a Taurus as well, it's showing up. Okay, King of Cups coming in there, crossing the Lovers. So is this a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancerian energy? Okay. There's some interesting cards coming through there, so we'll take a look at that in more detail in the extended, but there's certainly some release energy that's taking place here. Do you know what the Alchemist with the Ten of Wands is saying? Find an easier way. Find a better way to do something, Gemini. Are you trying to do something the hard way or the long way? I know we talked about not taking a shortcut, but I still feel that you can make it easier on yourself. Five of Cups bringing in the star energy, beautiful healing energy. 3 Cups here. Maybe some changes in and around friendship dynamics or groups or communities with that full moon in Aries activating your 11th house, you know. New beginnings, Knight of Wands, beautiful. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Gemini. Thank you so much for tuning in to the channel. I really appreciate you. I look forward to continuing this conversation if you're joining me for the extended. And otherwise, wish you beautiful blessings for this magical month of October. You take good care of yourself. Bye for now.